All right, you guys, so we're back into this template and I'm trying to break this up and make it kind of reasonable. And so I'm trying to also make it so that if you are looking for specific information, you're not having to go through a longer demo. So now that we have this, we can start dropping in our information, and we're going to go ahead and go back to this master, and we're going to do a few things. We need to add the name of the magazine. So, and this is done, we're just going to call this Home and Garden. And this is done, and then we're going to say, we're actually going to do 2 dashes and May 2020. And this is done for a lot of reasons, mostly so that people who are using the publication for information, I'm just going to come up here and do Frutiger. And I'm going to do bold, and I'm going to do this quite small. I'm going to do it 8-point type. And this information is there so that people can use it if they are, for example, doing copies of an article for research and they need it for something. Then they'll know that it's, in the garden. So I'm going to actually copy this so that it's on both pages. And this one, just to make it tighter and cleaner, I'm going to come up here and do a flush right as opposed to the flush left. Now the other thing that we need to do is we need to put the page number in. And so we're going to do that in the center of the page. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to hold down Option and drag it so it's at the same spot, and I'm actually going to do it in the center, and I'm just going to put a 28. We don't need to spell out page 28's fine, and I'll just drag that same information over here. And to be honest, I'm putting them down here, but this could be anywhere. It could be at the top. I tend to put it at the bottom just because I think the top is a little tight. And we do have that area down here because of the weight of the text. They could start over here. They could be in the interior. They could be grouped together. So it could be 28, Home and Garden. The only reason I tend to break them up is because I don't want them to be read as part of each other. So I feel like if this number, the page number, is associated with this too much, it could be read wrong. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my text boxes in, and I'm just going to drag them in the areas, and that's so that they'll be there if I need them, and if I don't, I can just delete them. So if you'll notice here, everything's set up, everything's nice and tidy. We're going to make this, we're going to leave this page 28, and we're going to leave this page 29. We'll come down here, and that means that this will be 30 and 31. So to unlock that, I'm going to hold down Command, Shift, and then I'm going to click. And then I'm just going to go in there and make that 30 and 31. Everything else is staying the same, obviously. All right, so after we've done that, we need to start populating our compositions and our text. I'm going to go ahead and get some lorem ipsum. And I'm sure that you guys will remember that lorem ipsum is text that is just made up so that graphic designers don't have to worry about it. I'm going to say give me 10 paragraphs, and I'm going to hit generate, and then I'm going to hit copy. And then we should be able to drop it in here. Now, let's go in and talk a little bit about that. So on my first page, I'm going to have a big image that comes all the way across here and then start here. So I actually don't need the text boxes in here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those out, and I'm hitting Command Shift and click so that I can activate them. When you put something on the master page, it's locked. So you can see I don't have access to this, but if I hit Command Shift and click, I do. So then my title is going to be in the in this first column. So I Command Shifted and I dragged it down to where I thought I would need it. So I'm going to hit Command V for paste, and you can see my lorem ipsum is showing up. I have a little red plus sign here that says I have more text. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going, oops, you know what? I did all of this on the wrong page. Command Z. I did it. I need to do it in here. All right. So let's go back. Command Shift, click, delete. Command Shift, click, delete. Command Shift, click, delete. And then this is going to be the start of ours. And you can see there's nothing here, but if I hit Command Shift and click, I already have that created. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. And now it's on the right page. Again, we have this little red icon. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to go into this page, and then I'm going to hit Command Shift, click, and then click, and I'm going to unlock this guy over here. Oh, apparently I must have not had that text box come back, so I'm going to create a new text box. I'm going to come over here, click that, oops, click into that. See if this text box is here. Oh, that one is. It's just missing one. All right, so we'll go ahead and do this. And I'll click here. Oops. And then I'll click on to that, and that's the end of our article, that our 10 pages or 10 paragraphs. That's all right, because we're going to obviously bring in images on this page, so we're not worried about that. So let's do a couple of things. I've actually gone ahead and formatted compositions. Let's talk a little bit about that before we move on. I pulled some things. Let's see where I put them. There's my demo. All right, so I pulled some images from FreePic, and well, it's not free, and kind of manipulated them. And so this is a really great example of one of the images. I'm going to make it into a grass advertisement, right? So I'm going to come in here and do image size to look and see what it is. It's huge, but it's huge in measurement, but not resolution. So I'm going to move the resolution to 300. And we know that the height just needs to be 11 inches because remember, we have 10.75 and then we have that 1/8 of an inch. So let's see what that gives us. And it's wider than we need, so we're going to go to image and canvas size, and we're going to do a width of 9.25. Remember, we're doing that 2.5 again for the 1/8 of an inch. And so that'll be our ad. I've done this for all of my other images. Let's just do the rest of them so that we look at that one more time. So let's look at this one. Oops, let's look at this one in Photoshop. This will be our cover. So I'm going to bring this in Photoshop. I'm going to revert. I think I saved it. Oh, there it is. All right. All right, so we want this part of our composition for our cover, and I'm going to go to image size, and you can see it's 300 by 17 wide and 11 high. Well, 11 is perfect for us, so I'm just going to make that an even 11, right? And then we know that we don't need this stuff over here, so we'll go ahead and do a preliminary crop, and then we're going to hit return to do that, and then we're going to go to canvas size, and remember we need that canvas to be 9.25, and we'll go ahead and crop it again. So this will be our cover. So we'll do a save as. Now this is something I didn't talk about in the last one. I always save as JPEG, or not JPEG, TIFF. The reason why you don't save a JPEG over a JPEG over a JPEG is because JPEGs are compressed files. So if you continue to compress something over and over and over again every time you want to make a change, what you're doing is you're losing quality every time. But a TIFF is a stable format, and it doesn't do that, so I'm going to save that as a TIFF, and I've saved this as well. So go ahead and make sure that you format this for those pages. I have given you demos in your class on to look at setting up magazine covers in Photoshop, and I think that those are more extensive than I would probably do. So I'm going to leave those where they're at, but I wanted to do more demos in InDesign. All right, so now that we have some compositions to work with, we're going to come in and place. Now, I don't need this text anymore right here, so we're going to get rid of back, and I'm going to go to File, down to Place. And right here is my demo 2, so we're in the right spot, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to place that, and I'm going to have my bleed up here, I'm going to have my bleed over here, and I'm going to have my bleed over there. All right, so let's place cover. Now, oops, one thing that you need to do is you need to, number one, delete that, but make sure that you don't have that selected when you go up here to File, down to Place. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab, I think this is our front cover, and I'm going to go ahead and drop that into place, and you can see that we have the information, or the bleed on our edge. So now we would go ahead and put logos and type that we would want over this. For an ad, I would do that in InDesign. I would put those things in here. For your cover, you're probably going to want to play with your type a little bit more, so it's appropriate to do your type in Photoshop for your cover. The reason why you place type in InDesign, if you can get away with it over Photoshop, is because Photoshop will give you a grainier, less crisp type. So you want to make sure that you're doing it in here. All right. And then we're going to come over here. And again, I told you I wanted to have my image come across. Now we don't need these guys. So I'm going to hit Command Shift, and we're going to get rid of these. Those typically don't show up when you have an image that crosses. So I'm going to go up here to File, down to Place, and there's my image. I'm going to go ahead and place it, and I want it to come right to the edge. And at this point I can start putting in my title, and we're going to make it about hedge trimming and So I would put that in, I would do my author, I would come in here, and this is the beautiful thing about making your text boxes connected and flow text. So if I select here, look, this text is turned black. Let's unclick off of your text. If I come over here and select all, everything's selected, right? So if I can come up here and then I can say, oh, what is my favorite font? Frutiger. And I'm going to make my font Roman, and I'm going to make it 9 point because that's typically what most body copy is. And you can see that I actually have a lot less type than I thought I did, so I actually need more text. That's one of the reasons why I think I mentioned make sure you have enough article. So this is 10 paragraphs, and you can see it doesn't appear that much. But I am going to bring more images in here and, you know, have a variety of things, maybe a pull-out quote. And so the pull-out quotes you would do in their own text boxes, and obviously images you would place wherever you need. So that's kind of the basics of dropping information in to InDesign. It's super easy. Really the hard work is making sure you have the right images, that you have all of the stuff that you can use to drop in here. All right, email me any questions. Thanks, bye.